You walk into a Patek Philippe boutique in 2026 with 6 figures ready. You ask for a Nautilus. The associate pauses. Nothing to commit to, maybe years. Then a tray appears. A rose gold annual calendar, a Calatrava. Available now. That pivot plays out in every major market on Earth. The question is not which Patek references your dealer will never offer. It is what the ones they push instead are designed to do. A buyer stands at the counter, hope riding on the question, "Do you have a steel Nautilus?" The associate's answer comes with practiced calm. No allocation this year, no timeline, no list that really functions. The moment hangs, heavy with the knowledge that the answer is the same in New York, London, Geneva, Singapore, and Hong Kong. The request for steel has become a kind of ritual, met by a polite refusal that is less about inventory and more about the rules of the game. But there is always a pivot. A tray appears, lined with models that never seem to run dry. Rose gold annual calendar, Calatrava, sometimes a grand complication. But I can show you something that just came in. The words are almost identical from city to city, a script shaped by the allocation system behind the counter. The Nautilus sells itself, associates say quietly. They get paid to sell the rest. The client, ready to spend, is steered from the mythic steel sports icon to the world of classical Patek. The offer is not random. It is a signal, a test, a coded invitation into a system where money is only part of the equation. Here, history matters more than cash. The watch on the tray is not just an alternative, it is the first step on a ladder, and the offer itself is a message. Across continents and currencies, the same words echo inside Patek Philippe boutiques. We don't have an allocation on that this year. The phrase lands with a quiet finality, whether spoken in New York, London, Geneva, Singapore, or Hong Kong. The waitlist, clients are told, does not really function. There is no secret list to join, no promise of a future call. Instead, the conversation shifts, almost on cue. But I can show you something that just came in. A tray appears, lined with models that never seem to disappear from the glass. The rose gold annual calendar, the Calatrava, a grand complication in white gold. The offer is not a consolation prize. It is the next line in a script that plays out with uncanny consistency from city to city. Collectors who travel between boutiques notice the choreography. The same 3 sentences delivered with practiced calm form a kind of universal code. The Nautilus, associates confide, sells itself. We get paid to sell the rest. This is not a local quirk or a single manager's policy. It is a system replicated across the world's financial capitals. The dealer's role is not to break the rules, but to guide the client through them, steering the conversation from the mythic steel to the classical, from the dream to the available. What looks like a personal exchange is in reality a catalog of rehearsed lines. The script is not about watches alone. It is about decoding what is being offered and what is being withheld. The same 3 sentences spoken in 5 cities point to a pattern that demands explanation. In this world, what is on the tray is not just product. It is a message about access, about status, and about what it really takes to move up the ladder. The next question is not what is in stock, but why the script never changes. Patek Philippe keeps its annual production numbers under tight wraps. Official statements never confirm a figure. They only say the total is limited and confidential. Industry analysts, drawing from years of shipment data and market trends, estimate the yearly output at around 70,000 watches. Of that, less than a fifth are the steel sport models that drive so much of the demand. The rest is a mix of precious metal classics and high complications, the references that fill the trays when a client's request for a Nautilus is met with a quiet shake of the head. This imbalance is no accident. Each year, headquarters in Geneva divides the total output into strict categories, a tightly capped sport steel bucket, and a much larger allocation for classical and complicated watches. The steel quota is the most closely guarded. Distributors then break these numbers down even further, sending only a few dozen steel pieces to each authorized dealer, while the classic inventory arrives in far greater volume. A boutique in New York might receive just 1 or 2 steel Nautilus models per quarter. while a shop in Hong Kong could go months without seeing a single one. Meanwhile, the display cases are always well stocked with gold Calatravas, annual calendars, and grand complications. Dealers know that the rare steel references will sell themselves. One associate puts it plainly: the Nautilus sells itself, and we get paid to sell the rest. The economics are clear. The allocation system ensures that the most desirable models remain scarce, while boutiques are incentivized to move the inventory that lingers. For clients, the absence of steel is not a failure of supply chain or customer service. It's the result of a global math problem, an output ceiling, a category split, and a deliberate strategy to keep the icons just out of reach. The offer on the tray is shaped by these numbers and by the rules that determine who gets to move up the client ladder. A first-time buyer, flush with cash, might expect that desire alone opens doors. Inside a Patek Philippe boutique, the reality is quieter and more intricate. Every client is logged in the dealer's CRM system, their history rendered as data points: date of first interaction, number of purchases, total spend, service visits, even who made the introduction. The system is built to reward patience and consistency, not just spending power. The latter begins at entry level. 1 or 2 purchases, a Calatrava, maybe an annual calendar over 12 months. These buyers are noted, but their requests for steel icons rarely move beyond the counter. The next rung is established: 3 to 4 purchases, logged over 2 to 4 years with at least one complication or precious metal piece. Here, the client's standing is recognized. A standing request for a Nautilus or Aquanaut is entered into the system, but it stays within that boutique. There is no global list. The process is local, personal, and opaque by design. Top-tier status is reserved for those whose history is both deep and recent: 5 or more purchases, a pattern of regular servicing, and years of documented loyalty. Only then does the manager's logic come into play. As one former boutique manager described, "We look at the client's total spend, number of Patek pieces owned, and whether they have a standing request on file. If they've been with us for 5 years and have bought at least 3 complications, they move into the VIP tier and get first pick on sports steel allocations." Requests do not travel. A standing wish in London means nothing in New York. Each boutique guards its own pool, its own client hierarchy. The system is designed to filter for intent, not just ability to pay. The offer on the tray, often a precious metal reference, is not just a sales tactic. It is a coded message. Prove your history, and the next invitation may be the one you actually want. Scarcity is not just a quirk of Patek Philippe's system. It is the engine that powers the entire market for its most sought-after watches. By keeping production capped and allocations tightly controlled, the brand ensures that certain references, especially steel sport models, remain out of reach for nearly everyone. The result is a kind of manufactured rarity that does more than frustrate buyers. It sets the tone for the brand's value everywhere else. When a Nautilus or Aquanaut becomes impossible to buy at retail, prices on the secondary market soar, often doubling or tripling the original sticker. That premium is not an accident. It is the visible proof that scarcity works, reinforcing the idea that these watches are not just products but assets, protected by their own inaccessibility. Dealers understand this dynamic well. They know that if supply were relaxed, the resale aura would vanish, and with it the sense of exclusivity that defines the brand. Protecting scarcity is not just about controlling inventory, it is about preserving the myth that keeps the entire system in motion. The tray, with its gold Calatrava or annual calendar, is more than an assortment of available stock. In the world of Patek Philippe, the offer is a diagnostic tool, a way for the dealer to read the client as much as to serve them. When an associate slides a classical piece across the counter, it is not just a fallback for the unattainable steel. It is an invitation to participate in a system where the rules are unwritten, but the signals are clear. Accepting the offer is the first proof of intent. Dealers log every decision in their customer relationship management system: which references the client considers, which they buy, which they decline. The classical reference is the entry fee, the minimum buy-in that marks a buyer as serious, not just passing through. In practice, the offer is a checkpoint on the qualification path. one that separates those who want a Nautilus from those willing to build the relationship required to get one. The message is subtle but unmistakable. In this boutique, money opens the door, but history writes your name on the next invitation. The watch on the tray is not just a product, it is the first rung on the ladder. In the world of Patek Philippe, what you are offered says as much about your standing as what you are denied. The real test is not what you ask for, but what you are willing to accept. Today, every offer across the boutique counter is a signal, less about what you can buy and more about what you are told you cannot. In this system, money proves nothing, and history is everything. The offer is the message. In the end, access is not sold, it is earned. Thanks for watching.